Hi, everybody. This is Sheea from Austin, and I wanted to share a fascinating concept that is happening in my life, and it's very applicable to light workers, and so it's pretty inspiring. I was listening to a YouTube reading. Happened to be a Pisces reading because I'm a Pisces, and she's one of my favorite, and she said, the universe has sponsored you as long as you're doing your light work on the planet. You're going to be taken care of and protected. And I really heard that, and she kept using the word that you're sponsored by the universe, and it's working. So, being a single woman, entrepreneur, business owner, there's a lot that I'm doing on my own, like juggling a lot of things. Life is a juggle between, health practices, spiritual practices, running my business, doing admin, doing social time and rest time, and there's all these things that happen every day. And I was in the midst of doing so many things that are on my list on a daily basis. I was kind of forgetting that, aside from serving my clients, which I do in my Tantra business, which is really important because the way I do my sessions are like game changers for people. And it's sharing like mystery knowledge and all that. And on top of that, though, the universe was really wanting me to share on my YouTube channel, and also I channel as well. And so, that takes time to get into the space and actually channel messages. And then I've collected some already that I'm going to be sharing, on this YouTube channel. And so doing things like that where I'm sharing it to the world, is what they're wanting me to make sure I include in my schedule of things to do as part of my service to the planet, because otherwise I'm just reaching people privately, one-on-one or one-on-two with a couple. And whereas the YouTube channel reaches so many more people, and my social media reaches a lot more people at once, right? So I noticed that if I'm not doing those things like the YouTube channel stuff or the channeling that I share then with more group, broader audience, that my business is slow. But then as soon as I start doing it, my business takes off. And I've literally tested this where I'll record a YouTube video like this one, and then I'll just start getting calls and bookings. Whereas I remember like one week I was kind of under the weather a bit, and not able to keep up with everything that week, and it was just a completely dead week, like $0 made. And I was like, that is so weird considering the past 3 weeks before that were quite good and prosperous. And I was like, that is just such an extreme. But I didn't do anything in the way of YouTube or my channelings. And so here I, started doing the YouTube recordings again, and, things related to that stuff. And then boom, it picks up all of a sudden again. And so I thought I would share this because I'm finding it fascinating. I am finally realizing that is really key, and that the universe is really wanting me to know that, hey, you need to keep doing this, and then we will reward you, we will support you, we'll make sure you're covered financially. Because right now I'm not making anything, from doing these videos. At least at the moment, it's not monetized. And unless I get donations or whatever, patrons, it's not like financially viable for me to actually do this, which is why I wasn't focusing on it that much, in the recent past. but they're really wanting me and making it clear that they want me to do this, and making it very clear that when I do, they really reward it. So I know a lot of you can also claim that same thing and kind of tie those two together, because I just wasn't linking that quite well enough before. And now I know that if things get slow or feel stagnant, or I'm like, wait a minute, where, why is it not working this week, that all I have to do is start recording and it starts happening. So whatever your spiritual service is for the planet, whatever it is that you feel like you're here to do, and whatever messages or service, it could be, any number of things, but keep that in mind, because I notice for me, it makes it so motivating when I know that they reward that and they make sure that my business prospers so that it does support me being able to do this. And so I just had to share that, because I was like, gosh, that is fascinating. Now I get it and I will do it. Whereas before I just wasn't registering that as clearly until she mentioned it. And then I was like, huh. And so anyway, that was a big aha moment for me, which is probably another thing I'd like to mention, which is, I listen to a lot of YouTube videos. I have my favorites. I have my ones that I listen to every day or every week. And, there's a lot of work that goes into taking the time to record these and post them and whatnot. And not everyone is monetized yet, because they require, I think, so much of a regular attendance, I guess, of videos. I have to learn about all that. But one thing you can do, and this is what I do, is in order to support those channels that you believe in, I do a thumbs up. I will also purchase things that they're offering just to support them. It's kind of like my way of tithing, because they do contribute to my spiritual wellness. And when you subscribe and do a thumbs up, that's like your way of contributing and saying thank you. And it helps, because then more people get to see these videos that otherwise might not, because it's not on the radar for the algorithm. So just to keep that in mind, if you're someone who, it's so easy to just get used to getting all this free information and all this free service, on YouTube, and listening to one after the other, but we need to give back too. And so, I usually buy the programs just to support them. Or if they have a Patreon, or, and then there's these free ways that I mentioned too, of just doing the thumbs up or whatever, so that you can give back as well and support those channels, because they put a lot of energy into showing up for you on the daily or on the weekly. And I'm really glad to be back in here and sharing more like I did before. And anyway, I hope you found that inspirational for those of you light workers who know that you would like to be able to do your service. Maybe you haven't monetized it yet either, and you're wondering, well, how can I make this sustainable? Because it feels like I'm just working for free and doing all this, free work. But if it means that you're going to be prospered in your own business that you already have, or your own work, or maybe you'll get more sales that week or something because you do it, then keep that in mind, because that's one way that the universe can support you while you're doing your service.